Hello, Jasmeet, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. Uh, Alia, Pooja, I mean, you all guys can, start your video as well.
Sir, is my video on?
Jasmeet, I can see you, but it is coming a little delayed. Can you see me and others?
Yes, sir. I can see you and Bishwajit, not others.
Okay, nobody else is visible. Praful and Alia, can you hear us? You can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I can hear you. Starting the video in a minute.
Yeah, okay. Pooja? Pooja, can you hear me? Pooja, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute and you can start video also. That will give us a feeling of having a classroom kind of situation.
Actually, sir,
Huh.
I can't see you.
Yeah. Okay. Alia is there. Pooja, can you see me? Pooja. Then who is this Lalampoi?
I think it Now
Yes, I guess.
Okay. Laltanpui, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. What about
Okay.
you?
Okay. Nice to hear your voice from such a long distance, Mizoram. Can you see me? Can you see other students as well?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, okay. You can start your video also. I mean, participate. Well, okay. One, two, three, four, five. How about Praful? Praful, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start your video if there is no problem. Pooja, you also? Pooja, can you hear us? Pooja is probably having some problem. Okay. Okay, nice to see you guys after a lot of gap, and I hope all of you are doing fine. This year
Yes.
we will be discussing about the rise of Maratha power. That is your first paper. So this paper I'll be teaching first time from your semester. You have you studied this Maratha history during your graduation?
No, sir.
So very little.
Very little.
It's a
Yes, sir.
brief starting. Just
Okay, fine. So Marathas, they have played a very important role during the medieval period. Starting from 17th century onwards, they have almost dominated a century. So, in this paper, we'll be discussing about what were the causes that gave rise to the Maratha as a political force, how they have risen, and then, of course, important events like Chhatrapati Shivaji, who is considered as a founder of this Maratha kingdom, later on, which turned out to be an empire. So today, have you gone through the syllabus that I have uploaded on Google Classroom? Otherwise, we will discuss that
Yes.
separately. Can you see my screen?
no, sir.
Yes, sir. I can.
Could you see the syllabus? Okay, so I'll recording part chat more virtual presentation. Audio speaker. Oh well, just a minute. Can you see the syllabus on the screen?
No, sir.
Uh,
No,
you
sir.
you're able to see me only.
Yes, sir. Only
Yes,
you.
only.
Only you.
Okay, syllabus is not visible to you. There might be some option where you can present the thing as well. Active speaker video, active speaker. Share content. Yeah, share content is here. And then, yeah, yes, I'll share this. You now have option to optimize for sharing, recording, sound, and more. Share content, and I'll share this now. Lalthampui, we can see you now. Okay, now are you able to see the screen?
No, sir.
No, sir. It's blank.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now.
Syllabus is coming to you? Syllabus you are seeing?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the kind of new experiment we are doing. So in the beginning, we might be having some hassle, some problem, but I hope we'll get through that. Well, okay. So, this paper is mainly designed to give you a feel of the regional history. We know that history is having a different kind of history. There is a international history, national history, regional, local. So, Maratha, in fact, they have dominated almost the whole of India, starting from all the way from Attock, which is a border between now Afghanistan and Pakistan, starting from Attock to deep into the south up to Zinzi. But still, many times they are considered as a regional power. In fact, the Marathas, they have not got as much attention from the Western historian, from the British historian, as probably the Mughals have got. Mughals have ruled the country for longer period, obviously, and they have ruled over a very extensive area. But nevertheless, Marathas have also ruled over the very extensive area. But as the Mughal historian have left the reasonably good record of their historiography, Marathas have not done so. In comparison, the historiographical record of the Marathas are not as rich as we have the Mughal history. Am I audible clearly to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so in this we will be discussing the first unit is the first topic of the first unit is sources of Maratha history, and in these sources we will be talking about Bakhars, Ajnapatra, and Shakavali. Now, what does that mean? We will be discussing slowly. Bakhar, if you remember, we have already discussed the sources of Maratha history or Maratha historiography in your first semester,
Yes, sir.
or was it in the second semester? But
It
last
was in the first
it
semester.
was in a
First semester.
first semester, Maratha historiography we have discussed. We also know that Jadunath Sarkar had done a very extensive work on Maratha history as well as Vika Rajwade as well. So Bakhars, I'm sure you are familiar with the word called Bakhar. Bakhar used to be
Yes.
a kind of record that the Maratha historian have written. And what are the pros and cons? What are the different type of Bakhar? We'll be discussing few of them. Then Adnya Patra is a collection of the Adnya. You understand the meaning of Adnya? Adnya is an order. So the Shivaji used to run his administration, and he has passed certain orders. So those Shivaji's orders, what were his orders, how he used to rule his administration, that was later on one of his courtier, the person who worked with Shivaji, later on have written a book, and that book is called Ajna Patre. Similarly, Shakavali, it gives information about the lineage, about particular family. So these are the three important sources of Maratha history which we will be discussing later. Then we'll be discussing about the situation that led to the rise of the Maratha. Because see, anything doesn't happen suddenly just out of blue. It had long historical causes behind that. So this important historical event about the rise of Maratha, they are becoming a very important Maratha power. We'll be discussing about that, and then the concept of Maharashtra Dharma. See, behind the foundation of any kingdom, there is an ideological background. You need to dream about the country, then only the country will come into existence, right? Our ancestors have dream about free India, and then later on the freedom struggle have started, but the dream has to come first. So everything starts with an idea, and the Maharashtra Dharma is an important idea which has influenced the minds of the Marathas. They started dreaming about having their own independent country, having their own independent nation. So that concept of Maharashtra Dharma, how it has emerged, how it was, what were its implication? Was it only politics, or was there something, a mixture of religion and politics, that also we'll be studying in the concept when we try to understand the concept of Maharashtra Dharma. So this is your first unit, and in the second unit you have Shivaji's relation with Adil Shah. See, Adil Shah of Bijapur, that was a sultanate, and that Adil Shah of Bijapur had a significant portion of Maharashtra under their control. And Shivaji's ancestors, like his father Shahaji, and then his grandfather. They all work under Adil Shah, either under Adil Shah or under Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar. But by Shivaji's time, Ahmad Shah, this Nizam Shahi of Ahmednagar was no more. It was Bijapur Adil Shahi of Bijapur, which was having a predominantly control over the territories in Maharashtra. And Shivaji, in fact, the first power that Shivaji had conflict on a larger scale is Adil Shahi kingdom. Shivaji has crowd his kingdom out of the territory of Adil Shah, or territory of Adil Shah in the sense the territory on which Adil Shah had his control. So that is the reason, after we understand this background of Maharashtra Dharma and all, when we talk about Shivaji, who is considered as a founder of Maratha Empire, the very important political relationship and as well as the military conflict that Shivaji had with Adil Shah is important to understand. Now, at the time when Shivaji was gradually conquering one after another area and laying foundation of his kingdom, the very prominent power in India was Mughals. And though when Shivaji's kingdom was very small, he obviously did not came in conflict with Mughal, but the conflict with the growing kingdom of Marathas and the imperialist Mughal was inevitable one day or another. Imperialist Mughal were not willing to tolerate anybody who is becoming independent, as they themselves were expansionists who wanted to expand their control over the extensive territory all over India. And this rise of the Marathas under the leadership of Shivaji was bound to irritate them. And as it happened later on, as Shivaji slowly became stronger, he snatched a large number of territory from the Adil Shah, and then obviously it attracted attention of the Mughal, and then we have a Mughal and Shivaji relationship. Aurangzeb tries to bring Shivaji to his side. Shivaji doesn't listen, and then that lead to conflict, which we'll be discussing. Now, after successfully fighting against these two big empire, Adil Shahi on the one side and the Mughal much bigger than even Adil Shahi on the other side, Shivaji was successful in establishing his kingdom, sometimes by his valor, sometimes by his bravery, and sometimes by diplomacy. And then finally he decides to proclaim himself as an independent king, and then there is a coronation ceremony. So there is a significance to this coronation, because for long back, Indian territory, they were mostly ruled by the rulers who had been Muslim, and they did not really allow anybody around them to become an independent king. The king has, even if the Hindu small kings were there, they were mostly vassals of the Muslim Sultan or the Mughals. Now, here, after the end of the Vijayanagara Empire, it is the first time that some Hindu ruler have proclaimed himself as an independent king in the territory of India. So, in that way, this coronation is considered as a very significant event in the Maratha history, which we will be discussing about it. And in 1680, Shivaji dies. 1674 is a coronation, and few years, that is 6 years after that, Shivaji dies, and after Shivaji, his son Sambhaji becomes the ruler of Maratha, and then Sambhaji he has to fight continuous war against Portuguese, because the Portuguese who were having their control over Goa, and they were very close to the Maratha territory. So Sambhaji comes in conflict with Portuguese first, then he also comes in conflict with Siddhis of Zanjira. This Siddhis of Zanjira is a very unique feature in the Maratha history, or we can say in the history of medieval India as well, because these Siddhis used to be the people. Anybody knows from where these Siddhis came? Any idea?
Pakistan.
Huh?
It came from Pakistan.
Oh, Ali,
From the Sindh region.
Pakistan was not there during those time. It came into existence in 1947. See these?
Yeah,
From the
like
Huh? Anything?
from the Sindh region, sir.
No, no,
yeah, this is
no, no, no. That is what you wanted to say. No, they did not came from Sindh. They were called Siddhis, not Sindhis. We have as now we have large number of Sindhis who migrated to India after 1947. They were called Siddhis, and they were Ethiopian. They were Negro.
Yes,
Okay.
from African tribe.
African tribe. So they came those people during those medieval period. There was an extensive slave trade. What used to happen is the pirates and the businessmen, they will raid this African coastal area, catch large number of the slave and bring them and sell them. And even at the time, those African tribe chief, they also used to sell their people to these people to get something in exchange. So these Negroes are valued for their power. That they are very strong and they can work for a very longer period. And then later on, slowly they started employing them as a bodyguard. They started employing them in army. They started fighting war for these people. So slowly, large number of people from that African region and especially from Ethiopia, they started coming to India as well. And initially, though they were slaves, slowly they started establishing themselves, started claiming share in the power. So these Siddhis also they continued to change their loyalty. Like they served under the Bijapur for a few years, for a few centuries, and then later on they shifted their loyalty to Mughal as well. And near to the coast, near to the in the Arabian Sea, near to the western coast, near to Bombay and Konkan region, they have constructed a huge fort on island in the sea, and that fort was named at Zanjira. And through their experience of centuries and generation to generation, they were very good fighters. And that Janjira was very difficult to conquer. It was in the middle of the sea, surrounded by sea from all around, and it was built on a small island. So they built it in such a way that it was very difficult to conquer. And the Siddhis of Zanjira, they had a very long drawn conflict with the Marathas for decades together. So Sambhaji, he wanted to conquer that Zanjira, and he came in conflict with Siddhis of Zanjira. And then obviously Aurangzeb, as who was a Mughal Badshah now, and he was an expansionist. He also had a kind of antagonism against Shivaji. And after the death of Shivaji, when he found a suitable time, he invaded southern part of India, Maharashtra, and southern part of India with all his forces. And then Sambhaji was drawn into the conflict, which was inevitable as the conflict between Marathas and Mughal. It is in the logic of history, because there is one empire which want to hold on to the territory or expand the territory, and there is a new kingdom coming into existence which want to assert self-independent as well as hold on to territory, and if possible, increase its territory. So the conflict was inevitable, and that is what it happened. Sambhaji, he came into conflict with Mughal, and unfortunately he was caught by Aurangzeb and he was killed mercilessly by Aurangzeb. Now, this killing of Sambhaji, merciless killing of Sambhaji, it has created a kind of shock among the Marathas. There were certain number of Marathas who were even opposed to Shivaji, who were opposed to Sambhaji. They cooperated with Adil Shah, they cooperated with Mughal. But this killing of Sambhaji has given a deadly psychological blow to the Marathas. So, though initially there was a lot of depressing phase, they were shattered, but then they, remembering the kind of torturous death that is given to Sambhaji, the Marathas, they rallied around. And then after Sambhaji, we find that his half brother Rajaram, he becomes Chhatrapati, the ruler of Marathas. But the Marathas, they rallied around him, and then there is a long drawn war against the invading Mughal forces, invading Aurangzeb. And that phase of war, continuous warfare, is called the Maratha War of Independence, because Marathas now know they were no longer fighting for Sambhaji or Shivaji, they were fighting for their own territory. So this huge attack, a large number of Mughal forces coming from the north and attacking their territory, killing their king, has rallied the Marathas together. And we have this phase. In fact, the Maratha War of Independence has a number of phases. The first phase, in fact, Sambhaji's phase, is also called Maratha War of Independence by Maratha historian. Sambhaji has fought against the Marathas from 1680 to 1689. And then we have Rajaram, 1689 to 1700, 11 years. And then we have Rajaram's widow, Tarabai, who fought against the forces of Mughal from 1700 to 1707. So this phase of 1881 to 1707, 25, 26 years of period, is called the period of Maratha War of Independence. And number of Marathas like Santaji, Ghorpade, Dhanaji, Jadhav, these were the important heroes of that period who put up a very tough resistance against the Mughal. So this is Maratha War of Independence. Then we will be in the last minute. We'll be talking about. Are you able to see me as well as the screen both?
Sir, I am
Yes, sir.
able to see the screen but not you.
Okay. I'll try to see.
Can
You can see side by side both things. And the last two topic is civil judicial administration and military and naval administration. So we will be discussing about that slowly. Well, now so far, is there anything that you want to speak? Just let me know. Uh, just a minute. I'll switch over to the earlier mode. This is active speaker video now. Active speaker. Are you able to see me now?
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay, just a minute. I'm not able to enlarge the screen. Participant. Oh, well, it's not going to full. Just, yeah, okay. Okay. Now it's coming. Okay, fine. Am I visible to you, all of you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Huh. Okay, now so far today was the first class, and I was not. I'm not sure whether we should start with the first topic. I had in my mind that we are meeting after a lot of gap. We'll just have kind of overview of the paper that what we are going to do for this semester. Is there anything from your side? Is there anything that you want to speak about topic or about the paper or in general about anything? Tell me.
Sir, you will be teaching only one paper.
Yes, this year, this semester, I'll be teaching only this paper, Maratha history. Earlier, I used to take that state in ancient and medieval period, medieval India, but I have changed this time. Only one paper I'll be taking this time. All right.
So what about the other classes, other papers?
Ha. Kureti sir will take one class. Kureti sir will take your economic history, I think. And then for other, ma'am will make some arrangement. There will be some contributory teachers and all. Just a minute. Pooja, Swati, Minal has joined. Swapnil is there. Well. Anything else? Anything else? You understood the kind of overview of the paper that we are going to discuss?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jasmeet, Swapnil, Minal.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Sir, will it be the same time every day?
Actually, no. Today was the first day, and then I had in my mind to discuss the timing with you because as we all are doing it from our home, we are free to set the time that suits us, provided that it should not overlap with other teachers. So today it was as per as timetable. Yesterday only we have just taken out this timetable and all, and I thought, okay, at least the first class, let us go as per timetable. But I am willing to change with the timing. What suits you? Like, I mean, are you guys taking classes somewhere else also for your students, Swapnil, or anybody, Jasmeet?
Sir, I am, and my class is supposed to begin at 1:30.
Okay, okay,
So before that, any time is suitable for me.
okay. Alia,
So I'm preparing for my exams. So anytime will suit. I'll adjust my preparation accordingly.
acha, you are preparing. Vishwajit,
Anytime will suit.
okay.
Morning.
Okay, fine. Otherwise, I'm just thinking. I have not decided. I'm just thinking if we take the class early morning, then throughout the day you are free with your work. I'm free with my own research. So, are you willing to join the class a little earlier?
Absolutely, sir. That would be very helpful.
That will that be better, Bishwajit? So, what time earliest possible timing for you? For me, anything after 6 o'clock is fine. Anything from 6 o'clock is fine for me. So you tell me what could be the earliest possible suitable time for you guys.
8 o'clock, 8:30.
8 o'clock is fine for me. Ask everybody. Is it okay with? Is it
Okay, everybody.
So 9 o'clock. What's the
9 o'clock? Okay, little late riser might be okay. Okay,
Hello,
Lal-
sir.
Lalthan Pui, is it okay for you? 9 o'clock? Just a minute. This was being recorded. I just wanted to stop the recording so that we can have a little bit of casual conversation, but I'm not finding that stop button. And there is a little bit of uh, problem with technology when we start with. Anyway, so
So there is this red icon on the top of the screen which shows recording. Probably if you click on that, it will stop recording.
yes, right. Recording is progress. Manage the recording. I can stop it.